Hi, Jen Gilchrist here, back with another weekly Oracle card reading for April 29th through May 5th. And I'm working with the Mystical Wisdom Oracle card deck. They're really pretty. I really like the art. Well, that one, I'm gonna have to go get it. It was the jumper. All right, so let's grab that one. I always like to look at them one at a time as we go. They're a little bit bigger, so they're harder to hold and shuffle for me. Okay, the first card, self-reliance. Don't be afraid to fly solo. I love it. What's coming forward first and foremost, and of course, take whatever. Always with any of my readings, I teach people how to develop and cultivate their intuition and their gifts. And so, trust your intuition on what comes forward, because I feel like there's several messages that want to come through. But the very first one is like I just see standing in your leadership, standing in your power, go your own way. We're here, we're being change makers, right? Those of us here that follow me typically are here to make change in the world, positive change in the world. And so that means that we have to go our own way, pave a new path, do something a little different, before it's adopted by the mainstream or whatever it might be, right? And it can feel a little scary, it can feel a little intimidating, it can feel a lot of doubt can come in, or a lot of like, well, what people think, will people get it? All of the mind chatter. I think last week we had the watch and use your mind wisely. I watched the self-talk, and there was also the peacock that was like, show up, shine, right? That's at least the message that it's in Cliff Note version, right? You'll have to check the video out. But self-reliance, don't be afraid to fly solo. I just feel like, the energy of this person is standing, she's standing like in her leadership, in the power, right? Like, but yet in her grace at the same time, and in confidence, and in certainty, and in beauty, and in grace. Like it's a really beautiful picture. And I feel like, this is really what we're all here to do, be our unique pillars of light, shine our light and lead the way. But you have to do it your own way. And so I think, especially when you start, especially I will speak to spiritually based entrepreneurs, right? Like sometimes that can be a little tricky, because there is a level of like marketing that is, that you learn, or I don't know, let me just speak to me, and I think you'll probably relate to some degree, but I feel like you have to learn, there is a level of learning how to do a business if you've never done one, right? Or I did have a business, but it was completely different compared to online and the type of work that I do now. So there's a level of marketing skill set. There's a level of learning curve around all of that. That is important, right? At the same time, when we shove ourselves into a box too much, trying to follow the exact template or this or that, it's like it doesn't even feel or sound like us. And you'll start to, like, I started not attracting quite the right thing. Like it was still feeling authentic to me, but it was very watered down, or it was trying to like be contrived, fit into a box. So I said the words right. And it was so stressful for me. And at the same time, it didn't really attract quite the right thing, right? Not quite the right person, right? So I struggled for a while to find that balance, right? And so that's just one example. I think for a lot of you, it's about, you might have a new modality coming through. You might, be coming out of the spiritual closet. You might want to go against the grain. You might want to, have even a coach or a mentor that says something. You're like, but it doesn't feel right for me, right? And that's kind of what I'm getting to when I was kind of using the analogy. It's not limited to, but it could be very true for some of you specifically. But more it was just kind of this analogy that you can't like fit yourself into a box that wants to be a certain way. Maybe take 80% of that and then put your own little flair on it, right? Like give yourself permission to play within that and allow your creativity and your uniqueness. I think this very creative expression is what I'm seeing. You know what I mean? And it's beautiful. It's very magnetic. And so I think that, self-reliance, don't be afraid to go solo, whatever that means for you, right? Let me know in the comment below, like what resonates for you on that. Money, find a way to abundance and potential. Think big for your future. So, and so these came out together. So sometimes I like to look at them together. So, but we'll still break it down and see how it goes. Because the think big for your future potential, I feel like this was sort of also what we got, a different version of it last week, if you're following me weekly. And if not, it's totally fine. But last week, I think there was this like big picture thinking, like, don't limit yourself. It's almost like the vision of like, this is like maybe you're trying to fit, like, this is you in the center of your vision. It's like you're outgrowing your vision, and like there's these limits that you're trying to like work within, and it's not gonna quite fit right. And so it's like you need to break through that glass ceiling in a sense, and just give yourself permission to think even bigger. But it's interesting because sometimes we've been used to, like, as we grow and evolve, it's interesting, especially when we have big shifts, like I think we've been going through collectively for a while, but even just more presently, this is a big period of time shift in 2024, right? And so we've been going through a big shift. It's opening up opportunity and laying the groundwork for a big thing, for something different. So I feel like there's something more new that wants to come through that maybe you haven't even quite fully got all the pieces to yet. You're looking at it from a mindset or who you were 6 months or a year ago, even, or even last month potentially, right? And really it's like, how can we be more objective and like zoom out to an even bigger spiritual perspective, and like the childlike daydreaming, there was no limits about what was possible, or the how. Don't let the how get in the way, right? I mean, in the spiritual, we get guidance for that, right? Our intuition guides us for that. So we get spiritual support for that. Look at, I didn't even see that till now, but all the little fairy support. Yeah, don't worry about that. Hand over the how. And look through the eyes of like that childlike wonder, and look at that. I mean, there's just so much creative energy wanting to burst through that ceiling, right? Which, oh, look at it, kind of reminds me of that. And then, but we're not letting it quite be in our leadership fully, right? Whatever that next level is for you. Oh, I like that. If you're new to me, I'd like to read very intuitively. So again, pick any other sidebar messages that might come through as we're going through this reading. But then money came up as well, and it did come with this as well. So I feel like, I mean, abundance is going to follow. If you're afraid to go your own way or try this or that, like, will I make the money? There's always that fear. There's always going to be that fear, right? There's no guarantee in anything in life, right? And it's a false guarantee if you think there is one, right? The safety net of even a job. Well, people lost a lot of their jobs, over the last few years. Big businesses have closed, right? So nothing is actually, it's the illusion of secure, or, you know what I mean? So we have to just trust that no matter what happens, we can always align to the next thing that's going to be there. So as soon as we have that self-reliance, does it say, oh yeah, self-reliance and self, we're rooted. Whatever happens out there in the world and the government or the banks or the monies or the whatever, it doesn't really matter, because we're adaptable. Because we're connected, because there's always opportunities to align to our magic and our miraculous selves to manifest whatever we want. And even bigger than we can normally see for ourselves, which is kind of what this picture is showing. And so money, find a way to abundance. So just trust. Part of this is just trust. It's going to, I feel like some of you on a sidebar, there's a lot of like, oh my gosh, I have all these creative ideas and which one to do, and a flurrying mental mindset maybe, but then you also have an equal amount of inspiration and amazing $1 million ideas floating around, and lots of guidance and wisdom. I see the owl there, which reminds me of wisdom, right? And spirit team, and then transformation. And then, I mean, there's just so many, there's a wolf, there's just so many different animals in this picture. And you are the universe. It's kind of what also this picture kind of, for whatever reason, it reminds me of like, gosh, look at, she is the universe that she creates around her, right? And I know this is coming back to money, but money is always going to be a natural byproduct of you aligning with your higher soul's path and calling. It's going to be a natural byproduct of that. It can't not, right? And so if we have an issue or a thing around money, then we have to work that out. That's between us and us, because a lot of people have that, oh, it's not spiritual to make money, or, everybody's going to have a snarky comment. If you would get a snarky comment at some point, probably, right, from somebody about, oh, all the spiritual work should be free. I mean, that's not even realistic or true, really. I'm not going to go into that whole big conversation, but I'm just saying, whatever our fear is, or our beliefs around money, we want to look at that and challenge that a bit, because when the money is in the power and the hands of the light worker and the heart-centered person who's here to make change in the world, that's when people donate to charities. They can give to foundations. You can, when you have the money, you have the resources to make a big impact. When you have that, you're going to give back, and it starts to becoming a much more abundant world, and everybody's, it works in a positive way. So maybe use that as inspiration sometimes. If you had an extra $1,000 that didn't matter to you, then where could you put that? Who could you give it to? That might be helping somebody in need, right? And so, and some of you might even feel called to add, a certain percentage of tithing into your business. Maybe that, I think that's great anyways, but I mean, that could be part of how if you do have like conflicting beliefs within your energy, right? I'm not judging that at all, but I just know that we have to work through that because you'll stay small. You won't be able to help the masses like you're supposed to, because if you are on that level, you're going to attract abundance. Or if you're worried about letting go of the day job so that you can do this thing, well, the abundance will be there, right? So either way, whatever end of the spectrum you're on with it, you're always supported and aligned to abundance if that's what you choose. And you could get to spend it and use it however you want, right? There's nothing wrong with using it and spending it for yourself and your family to have experiences and freedom of choice to buy healthy, organic, high value, high vibrational food, and to have support so that you can actually get more of your message out, or to donate if that's what you feel called to, or to have a fun vacation. Like all of that is like what we're in human bodies for, to experience experiences. So yeah, something around money. It's going to find a way to you if you allow it, right? And then battle of the blues, take a step forward to positive change. So yeah, don't overthink. Process the energy. I feel like I'm getting a sense of water. So I feel like you are probably perhaps still processing a lot of I think we had a lot of mental energy last week, still could be, right? And beliefs, and this is a little bit more like on an emotional perhaps level, or fear, or emotional body level. I just feel emotions in there. Like maybe sometimes we can get like debilitated into apathy or stagnant, or if we don't, like I said earlier, I think it was in this video, but when we are stagnant, we can get apathetic. We hit resistance. We can get depressed. We can be like, all of that comes from not being aligned and expressing our true creative selves. Doesn't at all mean, because I think also many of us are highly sensitive and introverted and need alone time to recharge. But there's a very big difference. And I feel like this theme has been coming up for me and my groups with my community and my group programs and things like that as well, that there's a difference between isolation and in retreating to rejuvenate. Yeah, we're going to need that, right? We're definitely going to need that. And then the versus feeling in isolation, which can lead to stagnancy and blues and depression and stuckness and overwhelm and the mental and the emotional and the, you know what I mean? Like there's a difference. So we want to stay in balance with giving ourselves enough alone time and quiet time to rest and actually rejuvenate. But we also don't want to trick ourselves into thinking that we're rejuvenating ourselves when actually we're apathetic and in depression on some level, or just staying stuck in energy, spinning our wheels in a sense, right? So then it's about just taking one little step at a time. Gratitude list can be a really great way to start to shift your attention and energy one step at a time. You got to pick yourself up and just do one step at a time if that's you. But then also you can also journal your feelings is a great way. That's another great method for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna put a link. You don't even have to opt in for it, actually. It's just a link to a page on my site that has you can just view it without doing anything really, but it has a short video and a meditation, TLC body meditation, which I think would be really powerful to address mental fears, doubts, and emotional, but especially on an emotional level, because those are always oftentimes housed in our body. And so it's just like a short video training and of about a process, and then like a 7-minute video or meditation. So short video and meditation, if I could spit it out, that you can actually will help you process if you're feeling like that. But it's a great process, even if you're not feeling like that, but especially I just feel like there are some people who might be, and I'm sending a lot of big love to you if you're feeling stuck and in the muck, it doesn't feel good to feel in that, because that's kind of feels like that energy a little bit. Also just drawing or art, or something even lighter than journaling your feelings, although that could be good. Just something playful, right? Being in nature is always healing, but sometimes I think it's about creative energy, moving something through you. So writing, journaling, planting, gardening, something with your hands, artwork, anything, doodling, right? All that just starts to shift the energy. So that is the message for this week. All right, let me know how that resonates for you in the comments below. I'd love to know if you are a new friend or if you've been around a while, who's here, who's watching, how did that resonate? Click subscribe and the notification bell as well for so that you know when I release new things. I also have a relatively new playlist that I am doing more verbally kind of channeled messages from different star collectives. Well, not all stars. Well, yes, they are all star collectives, right? Losing my train of thought, but basically channeled collective messages for star seeds and light workers. And it's where I'm doing more verbal channeling for giving, who knows? I mean, they're different. They're not necessarily week to week, but some of them are very short. Some of them are a little longer. And I'm excited to see where that continues to evolve and grow to, but they've been really, really powerful and well received. So if you are resonating with the path of a light worker or star seed, check it out. I'd love to hear how those resonate for you as well. All right. Have a great rest of your day, and we'll talk again soon. Bye for now.